So, what does it really take to connect a nation? I mean, we're not talking about some abstract concept here. Today, we're diving deep into a massive, real-world case study, the mission to bring high-speed internet to thousands of rural villages in Tamil Nadu. This is an incredible story of huge ambition, tricky logistics, and what it takes to bridge a digital divide. Let's get into it.
I want to start with this number right here, 12,525. Now that is not just some random statistic. That's the number of village communities, panchayats, that this whole project is about. And each one of those represents thousands of people, schools, local businesses, all waiting to get plugged into the digital world.
Which, of course, leads to the big question. How on earth do you actually do that? Having a grand vision is one thing, but building it, laying the cable, setting up the network for over 12,000 different places, that is the real challenge. So let's explore how they pulled it off.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the mission itself. Then we'll break down the blueprint they created. We'll follow the actual rollout, including the roadblocks they hit. Then we'll look at the impact, and finally, wrap it all up with some key lessons for the future. Okay, first up, the mission. Let's be real. In our world today, being online isn't a luxury, it's essential. We're talking education, healthcare, business, everything. Leaving rural communities offline means they get left behind, and the government of Tamil Nadu set an incredibly bold goal to fix that.
And here is the core of just how bold that goal was. They weren't just aiming for basic, spotty internet. No, the target was a minimum of 1 gigabyte per second for every single village. That's some serious speed. It's the kind of robust, future-proof connection you need for things like telemedicine or high-definition online classes.
All right, so with a goal that massive, how do you even begin to design a plan? You can't just toss a project like this to an existing department and cross your fingers. You need a specialized structure, a dedicated team, and a really solid plan. And this was their answer: Tanfinet. Now, you'll see this term, Special Purpose Vehicle, or SPV. It sounds a bit technical, but the idea is actually super smart and simple. Think of it as a brand new company created for one and only one massive job. This structure gives it a laser focus, speeds up decision-making, and stops the whole thing from getting stuck in government red tape.
And if you want to understand just how big a deal this was, just look at the investment. Over 1,815 crore rupees. Wow. I mean, that number tells you everything you need to know about the level of commitment here. This was a major investment, all aimed at creating long-term benefits for society.
Now, to manage all this complexity, they cleverly divided the state into 4 big zones, or packages. What you're seeing here is the breakdown for 2 of them, C and D. You have the system integrators, companies like L&T and ITI. They're the ones with the boots on the ground actually building the network. But then, and this is so crucial, you have an independent third-party auditor, BCIL. Their only job is to check the work. It's a brilliant way to build in quality control and accountability right from the start.
Okay, so the plan is set, the teams are in place. Next up, execution. This is where the blueprint meets the real world, and we start to see actual progress happening on the ground.
And you can really see the momentum building on this timeline. The whole thing officially kicks off in October 2021 when the main agreements are signed. Then, pretty quickly, the plan gets even bigger to include connecting government offices and even individual homes. And this all builds toward March 31st, 2024, when they hit a really huge milestone. More on that in just a second.
But, a project of this size is never a perfectly straight line. There are always going to be challenges. And honestly, how an organization handles those challenges, well, that tells you more than the original plan ever could.
And here was the biggest roadblock they hit. While work was moving ahead in packages C and D, the other half of the project, packages A and B, got completely stalled. A contract tender was canceled, and that led to a court case, which basically put everything in those districts on pause.
So what do? Well, this quote right here reveals their strategy. Instead of letting the entire project grind to a halt, they made a really pragmatic decision to keep moving forward where they could. This is what you call a phased rollout. It contains the problem and allows thousands of other villages to get connected without having to wait for the legal issues to get sorted out. Just a really smart move.
So, despite those challenges, the work in the other zones kept going. And now, we get to the exciting part, seeing the actual results and what it really means to light up a village with high-speed internet.
And here it is.
This is the payoff. Remember that March 2024 milestone we talked about? Well, as of that date, an incredible 8,676 village panchayats were officially lit up. That literally means the fiber network went live, the switch was flipped, and the data started flowing. That is a massive achievement.
So why is this such a big deal? This right here is the heart of the mission. We're not just talking about faster video streaming. We're talking about rural students getting access to world-class e-education. We're talking about people seeing doctors through telemedicine. We're talking about making government services easier to access for everyone. This infrastructure is the foundation for all of that.
Okay, so let's wrap this all up. What can we distill from this whole case study? What can other massive projects learn from the way Tanfinet was handled?
For me, there are 3 absolutely critical lessons here. First, that special purpose vehicle model is just fantastic. It gives the project a laser focus. Second, the phased rollout. It's a powerful way to manage risk, so a problem in one area doesn't derail the whole thing. And finally, that independent auditing is non-negotiable. It builds trust and makes sure the job is done to a high standard.
And that brings us to our final thought. The fiber is in the ground, the network is on. The infrastructure is becoming a reality. But that's just step 1. The big question now is, what's next? How do we make sure this incredible tool is used to its absolute fullest potential and truly transforms the lives of every single citizen?